What is Operation Cooperation? Operation Cooperation is a demonstration of working together delivers more results than any individual can alone. Everyone agrees with that statement, but are we practicing it together? We all agree spending the time we have sharing Ripple and XRP out to the world most effectively makes sense. The results of our collaboration is more people know about Ripple and XRP, and the financial results go to charity. Okay, how do we do this? A good story is always far more persuasive than facts and figures. If you think a good story can't be more persuasive than compelling and irrefutable facts and figures, you are mistaken. In our information-saturated age, business leaders won't be heard unless they are telling stories. Facts and figures and all the rational things we think are important in the business world actually don't stick in minds at all. Stories create sticky memories by attaching emotions to things that happen. That means leaders who can create and share good stories have a powerful advantage over others. So we create our stories and then we share them together. Telling stories is one of the most powerful means that leaders have to influence, teach, and inspire. What makes storytelling so effective for learning? For starters, storytelling forges connections among people and between people and ideas. Stories convey the culture, history, and values that unite people. And please do not listen to me. Listen to the experts.
And then last but not least is stories, right? Often we don't just pass on information, we share information as part of a broader narrative. And so using something called Trojan horse stories to carry our ideas along for the ride.
Jonah, how much of this applies to, is it evergreen to every industry, or is it specific to just business? Meaning, does this apply to years ago, we're not playing magic cards. All of a sudden, magic cards, every kid is playing. Or years ago, people weren't using, what was those, Pokemon. Not Pokemon. What was those, the round things that you would hit them? That you would
and the other ones would jump up in the air.
I don't know what that was. But all of a sudden, everybody had them. You know, you just kind of had to have one. And, you know, is it also apply to politics? Does it apply to religions? Why some religions do better than others? How much do these 6 currencies apply to every aspect of life?
You know, what's interesting is the internet has changed some things, right? It's allowed information to move faster and easier than ever before. But let's take the principle of social currency. We like looking good to others. We share things that make us look good rather than things that make us look bad.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't start because the internet started, right? I mean, think about a caveman, right? You know, cavemen would talk to one another being, don't eat that, it's poisonous. You know, look at this thing I caught. We've been sharing things that make us look good forever. Right? In the 1950s, people shared what made them look good. In the 60s, the same thing. And so what I love about studying psychology, behavioral science, rather than a specific domain or vertical, is the psychology doesn't necessarily change. The way we're built, it may ebb a little bit and flow a little bit based on technology and other things, but that underlying driver of why we do what we do is true across domains. You know, you mentioned some of the organizations I've worked with. I've certainly worked with big consumer packaged goods companies and technologies, but I've also worked with B2B companies. I've also worked with political campaigns. I've also worked with, people that want to change their kids' behavior, the way the education system works. And so the principles are very much the same. How we apply the principles differ. We have to understand how to apply them in a given context. You know, what makes a 50-year-old business executive look good is different than what makes a 15-year-old girl look good, right? They care about how they look. Different things make them look good. But that principle of caring how they look and sharing things that make them look good is true across domains.
Based on the amount of research you've done, I mean, you got now 2 decades of research in this space, maybe even more than that, because more than 2 decades of research in the space. Your experience, I'm curious. What wins? A great product, okay, a great marketing idea, a great sales team, a great culture or great storytelling? So you got a great product, but you suck at the rest. Does
Yeah.
that do better than a great marketing idea, great sales team, great culture, great storytelling? I'm curious to know what you're going to say based on all the different case studies you've read and experienced personally yourself.
Yeah, so that's a tough one to answer. I'll start by ruling out what I don't think is the winner, right? So we'll go. Having a great product is certainly important. It's hard to win with a terrible product, but there are lots of great products and services that we've never heard
It's
of,
crazy.
right? I work with so many early stage technology companies which say something along the lines of, "We've built this thing that no one has ever built before." And I say, well, that's interesting, but who needs it? And they go, no, you don't understand. No one's ever done this before. And I say, okay, but who wants this? What need does it fill? What customer is gonna want to change their behavior to do this? And it's not just about the product being good, right?
Mm.
It's about everything else that we build around it. It's certainly important to have a good sales team. It's certainly important to have good culture and good organization. But I would say a good story. I would say a good story. I've had to pick one of those trumps all of them, right? A good story is a powerful thing. A good story helps change minds, helps drive action, helps propagate your message because a good story can be memorable and told again. And so that can really be much more important than any of those other things. You have a great sales team. What's wonderful about word of mouth is it turns your customers into the largest sales team you've ever had, right? Rather than having, 5 people that are great salesmen, if you can turn all your customers into advocates, suddenly now they're all doing the work for you rather than you having to try to convince someone, oh, it's great, let me tell you why. And I know we'll talk about the catalyst in a few minutes and the challenge of changing minds, but, it's really hard to change someone's mind if you're self-interested. People know that you as a salesperson are trying to change their mind. But if their friend says, hey, I bought that product and it was great, if their colleague says, I listened to that podcast, it was wonderful, they're going to be much more likely to change. So word of mouth is much more powerful than traditional advertising and much more powerful than great salespeople.
What do we need each person to do to participate in Operation Cooperation? 3 simple steps. Like George Gammon. All right, when a moment in time video is posted live, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m., number 1, retweet the tweet and watch all of the video. Number 2, copy the link of the day's moment in time video and tweet it out yourself. And number 3, tell others about Operation Cooperation and invite them to join us. If you have any questions, ask in Twitter, and myself or some other person already in Operation Cooperation will help you. Join us. We build it, they will come. Cooperation is the way. It's in our DNA.